Hey, there we are.
Yes,
Got
and now
it.
we're live on YouTube. Hi, everyone. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, Rebels. Thank you for joining us this week.
We have a jam-packed show.
We went
Um,
through a lot this weekend.
um, welcome to the Monday recap of Rhode Island Comic Con, which turned into a Rebels Revisited live action reunion. It
Yeah,
was really fun. And we've got some Star Wars news with the announcement of all the stuff related to the Acolyte, and we've got a watch along. So it's going to be a busy show.
very busy show, but glad you guys could join us. Let's see who we got in the chats. All right. Hey, Catherine. Let's give us a second, see if we can get some more people in here.
So Ashley, are you feeling like worn out, run down, or invigorated? Which one is it? I'm worn down.
I'm totally worn down, like daylight savings time and doing this convention as a fan, and instead of working it, I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't done this in a long time, but I'm tired.
Yeah, it hit me on the. I drove. We drove, and we're in New York City, and so it's about a 4 hour drive. And on the drive home, and I was like, I'm glad we left when I did, because I didn't want to drive home at night and be sleepy and tired. Because when we got home, Jason was like, I'm taking a nap, and that was like a 4 hour adventure right there. So, hi everyone. It was Catherine, Sarah, Spencer, who we did see in
Hi,
real life.
Spencer.
Hey, you again.
Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Sarah. Thanks for joining us.
You guys joined on a good night, let me tell you. We have so much to talk about.
So much.
If we even mention what happens in the episodes, it'll be a miracle because we have so much going on for Rhode Island Comic Con and Star Wars news. It's going to be another one of those.
Yeah, definitely. But it was a fantastic weekend. It was so good getting the virtual Cantina family together at Dave and Buster's. Um, we had some special guests.
Yeah, we sure
It
did.
was really cool.
Young
Antonio Vina,
Cass.
who plays Casa in Andor, he joined us for dinner along with his agent, our friend Justin, and I'm guessing his dad.
Well, he definitely had an adult with him who was translating, and I'm not sure if
Yeah,
it was like an agent or family friend or something like that. But it was quite the turnout at the
yeah,
virtual Cantina Dave and Buster's live action extravaganza. I have
yeah.
a photo. I'm gonna see if this works, if I can hold it up and it works on camera. Can
Oh, nope.
Keep your
can
face in the
Right
shot.
there
Keep
works
your eyes
about
on
yeah.
good.
it.
This is on the Facebook page.
Yes.
Spencer posted it. I'm wearing orange, so you can kind of see me. But the we had a really nice turnout, and it was
We
so nice
did.
seeing everyone. So thank you to Spencer for organizing.
Yeah.
As always, he is the social director. He is the cruise director. So yeah, and made it happen. I just show up. Like just like this. Ashley and I show up. Everyone else does the work behind the scenes. Jeff is producing for us tonight again. Hi, Jeff.
Hello.
Jeff
The
missed
man in the
our
chair.
live action reunion. Instead, we did get a good portion. So 4 out of 5 ain't bad, right? Like this is Rebels Revisited minus Jeff. So we've got me, Ashley, Spencer, and Dave. We have yet to have all 5 of us together in a single spot since Celebration, even though we've all been at various conventions and stuff. We haven't had the crew. Oh, there we go. Yours is
But we
looking
got
much
like,
better.
I don't know if you
Yeah,
can see, but
that looks
everybody
good.
and Jeff face Force Ghost into the corner behind
Oh, that's
Spencer.
awesome.
So you
Oh my
can
God, I love that.
kind of see right there. Yeah. But it was a good time.
It was really fun. How about we sort of go around the room about what did we do? What did we buy? Who did we meet?
Yeah.
Because we did a bunch together, which was
Yeah.
really fun.
That was so fun. It's like adventures when neither of us are working.
Yeah,
We
we
don't
made
get to do that
the
very
most of it.
often.
I think Spencer met the most amount of people. You know how we were talking about everyone on the Rhode Island Comic Con list a couple episodes ago? I
Yeah.
want to say he met everyone on the list. I don't think he skipped a single person.
Yeah. If they were there, Spencer met them.
Yeah,
It
and
was
Dave had a
great job.
list too, for him of some people who weren't. And Spencer was only there Friday, but he still managed to hit like the whole con because Dave had a bunch of stuff for him to sign.
Yeah, I took his Mallrats piece so Jason Lee could sign
Mhm.
it. But yeah, get help where you can. If your friends are
Yeah,
offering to help, then totally. it was really cool. Jason Lee is amazing.
I did not meet him. He wasn't on my list. My list was actually relatively small. I mean, all right, so you and I did have a good Rebels one though. I think this is the winner. We met Keone
Yes.
Young. Do you have
He's
a
a
photo?
riot.
Can you show your picture again?
Yes.
Will that
Oh,
work?
watch out,
I'll
Ahsoka.
show the autograph. So I don't know if this is
Keep
gonna
your face in
work.
the shot if you can.
Ah, okay, I'll try that.
Or to help.
So his this is not working, you guys. I'll put a picture in the chat, but he signed right here,
Oh, we can see it. Yep,
yeah,
right
right
over.
over Hera. I was like, oh, I want you over Hera, and he literally signed onto Hera. But outside of that, it was well done, and he's now added to my list. I'm just going to read off the people on my Rebels poster over here. I'm very proud of this thing, and it was
You should be. That's
largely.
amazing.
What's so funny too is I got a lot of them signed at Celebration 19 for people who I had brought to the show. So weirdly, like a lot of mine say thank you as opposed to like some other Star Warsy thing. So I have Dave Filoni at the top with a sketch. Oh, there we go. There we
There's
are with
Keone.
Keone Young. My husband took
Yes.
the picture, and if it looks like I'm holding something that's out of frame, it's because I am. And I was holding the poster, and he didn't get it in the shot. And I was like, "What did you do?" But we had great pictures with Keone. He was super nice.
So
He
cool.
he was like genuinely interested in talking to us, and he did have a few
Yeah.
people waiting, but like we talked to him for quite a while, and he was super nice.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun.
Good people. So I added him to my poster because I felt like he's main cast. Like he's also got an IMDb list a million miles long,
Oh yeah.
including 2 episodes of The Golden Girls, which Jason remembered. Oh, Jason just texted me something snarky because he overheard me. Um, so yeah, from the other room. He's listening. All right, so here's my Rebels poster. Here's what I have so far. Dave Filoni, which is like the big get, and he has a little sketch on there.
Yes.
Sam Witwer, um, uh, Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Ashley
Huge.
Eckstein, Steve Bloom, Freddie Prinze Jr., Taylor Gray, Vanessa Marshall. The only one missing from the main cast then is really Tia Sircar. I just missed her. I talk to Steven Stanton frequently enough, but he just hasn't been at a show, and I don't want to mail this thing, so I'm going to add him. And then I put in Keone Young right over Vanessa Marshall. So from here, there's not a ton of space left, and there aren't a lot of other main cast people outside of like I would think about adding Matt Lanter as as like because of Twilight of the Apprentice, but
Or
he's not even really main
David
cast.
Oyelowo.
Yeah, if he did
But
something,
he
he's done
doesn't
one signing.
sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Jason Isaacs has to go on there. So there's a few people
Oh
I still
yeah.
need to add, but it's coming together. And then Philip
Yeah.
Anthony Rodriguez, I'd probably add as the other Inquisitor. It's funny, I've met all these people individually in various ways, and I didn't have the poster, but the project is coming along.
It's phenomenal. Like I give you so much credit. Like that's a dream piece right there.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
So cool.
So we met Keone. We also met Spencer just called her out in the chat, Bonnie Piez. That was
Yes.
awesome.
Queen Bonnie right there.
Beautiful, so nice. That's my husband, by the way, for everyone.
It's
The random
Jason.
blonde that you don't recognize, that's Jason. He had a great time, and that's me dressed in my De Nuevo Novo gear.
So stylish.
Ashley was basically my plus one in all the photos. I was like, we're going to meet people. You need to jump in.
Oh, thank
And
you.
so, of course, this is when you go to these shows. Like, I love doing the big
Yeah.
group pictures too, because then and we've all got content. We all get to meet people.
Yes.
We all get to hang out.
And also
there's
Katie O'Brien with
And
us and Joanna.
Oh, by the way, we got to spend time with Joanna, which I did not know she was coming. It's the kind of thing
Yeah.
where like, I knew there were going to be
Very
people at the
cool.
meetup, but like I didn't know like the guest list, right? So
Yes.
I got to spend quite a bit of time with her. We actually met Alicia Silverstone together,
Yes.
which was very cool.
Yeah,
Sarah's
Katie
husband is also named
O'Brien.
Jason. Very cool.
Katie O'Brien is in The Mandalorian. She's one of the officers. She's also in The Walking Dead. Yeah, she's done a lot of
Zombies,
stuff.
right?
Yeah. So she was
something
was
Z.
Oh, Z Nation. Sorry.
That's
I
the one. I want to
apologize.
say Zealand,
Yep.
and I was like,
And
that's
she
not a
was
thing.
in Agents of Shield. So
So I didn't know her until Star Wars, but I know her agent. So Daniel, who runs I Don't Do Subtle, brought Omid Abtahi last year. And he
yeah.
had Katie this year and Bonnie Piez. So 2 people who I was very, very excited to meet.
Very cool. And Bonnie's such a sweetheart. Such a sweetheart. I brought my cousin by on Sunday to meet her, and he's like, Aunt Beru's here. I'm like, yeah. Like
We were,
everybody's here.
we were Team Baru crew. She loved
Yes.
I know Joanna bought a T-shirt from her, I think for one of her friends.
So cool.
Let's see who else was there. Emily Swallow was there. Misty Roses was there. Spencer obviously knows them very well. He was saying they were awesome.
Wonderful women. Love those
Yes.
guys.
Who else was there?
Um,
Simon Williamson, who
yes.
played Max Rebo. Actually, I'm going to see if I have my autographs. Hold on. Let me show you some of the swag. So here's Bonnie.
Wag.
This was the picture I got of Bonnie Piaz. Oh, this one
Oh,
doesn't
love
disappear
that
because it
one.
looks like a face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um, so also I'm also one where I get my autographs personalized. Like I'm not a flipper.
Oh,
And I
me too.
also think that like when I die, no one's gonna care anyway. So like send it off to whoever. So Bonnie Piaz. Oh, here's Katie. Let's see if this comes through. She signed
Yep.
in silver though, and I should have stopped her.
It
Like
was
this should have,
gold. Yeah. But it
yeah,
it
it
still
was the
comes up.
wrong color choice. It should have been blue, or something, or red. But it's a grade 8 by 10, and I told her I was like, we'll send you a hat. We'll send you like a real, Imperial officer hat. Oh, here's a
So
better one. We got two.
the one for Jason.
The one for Jason.
Yes.
I like his better, but they're both great. She was terrific. Simon Williamson. So I have history with him. Like I actually got him to sign autographs for us when I was at Tops, and so he
He
knew
was
me.
really happy to see you
Yeah.
at the virtual Cantina dinner.
He
That
came
was really
very
cool.
late. Like
Yeah.
he and the whole crew, including like Kyle Patrick and Misty and a few other people, all showed up at like midnight, and most of the crew had gone at that point. But I
Yeah.
love my Max Rebo, and Max is like in the pop culture right now because of Book of Boba Fett. He seems to be like randomly surviving when he shouldn't be. Now Simon doesn't play him in the new series, but like
No.
Max, the character has gotten a lot of attention.
Yes. Who else? Oh, Grant Feely, young Luke Skywalker. He was there. Charlie, my cousin, got to meet him, and
Oh,
such a sweet
nice.
kid, really excited about the fandom.
Yeah,
He went by my friend's booth and bought a pop and said, "Oh yeah, I'm Luke Skywalker." And at
that's
first
so
they thought he
cool.
was just named after Luke Skywalker, and I'm like, "You
I
guys,
was like, no, it's really him.
that's Grant
It's
Feely."
It's funny now, like we could literally have a kids table at Celebration because there's a little Luke, a
Yeah.
little Leia, a
Oh,
little Cassian, and a
yeah.
little Mando.
Yeah.
So it's the kind of thing where like you could bring the kids and like have them each do like a half day at a table or something. I think they
Yeah.
would make a ton of money. Not that we should be, talking about kids making money, but
Yeah.
that's why they're there. By the way, incling this guy Antonio, little Cass.
Antonio
Yep.
Vina.
He was
He's
super nice.
so
He,
nice.
he came
Such a
to
sweet
dinner, as
kid.
you mentioned. Yep,
Yeah.
very cool. And
So
then
Spencer's confused about Misty. That she
Why?
showed at the did she show up after he left, or
I didn't see
um,
Misty.
was that
I
some
thought she
other?
was there. No, I
I
thought I saw her, but there was like a group of 15 that walked in with Simon,
yeah.
Oh,
all around midnight. So in my mind she was there, but maybe she wasn't.
Yeah, I didn't I stuck around at the bar for a little while. Actually, yeah, till close and I didn't see her at all, but I
Wasn't
saw
her? Okay.
no. It was another dark haired lady. I know what
Hmm.
you're talking about now. Yeah.
And
Okay.
then I met from the Magicians, Rick Worthy. I don't know if you here is a
He was
Magicians
holding
fan.
court. Like there were a
Yes.
lot of people at his table. It was cool.
He's got quite the following. I got to meet him last year, and we talked for quite a while because I know his agents. So that's the thing is, this was like old home week, right? Like how many people when
Right.
Ashley and I were walking around just ran into people we know, whether it was another artist, another agent, a friend
Yeah.
in the fandom. Like as we mentioned, Joanna popped up, and I was like, "Aren't we live in Australia?" Which I knew she didn't anymore. I know she's in Chicago, but it
Yeah.
was the kind of thing where it's like you forget that like we're all descending for this reason to be at the show.
Yes, we're all ginormous nerds and we're here for a reason.
Yeah. The win for me though, this was the big win, other than getting Keone added to the poster. The this is the laser disc for Clueless. And I got Alicia Silverstone and Brecken Meyer to sign this, and that
So yeah,
was a
that's
dream for
Brecken
me
at the
because
bottom and
yeah,
Alicia towards the middle.
yeah, this is just not working great. I'll have to post some pictures into the actual
Yeah, throw a
the
link in the
actual
chat.
yeah, the Facebook page
Just send me
because
a photo and I'll post it.
there you
I'll
go.
put it on my phone
Spencer
too.
put up like the whole collection. So everyone you could meet at this show, Spencer or Dave got their autographs, and Spencer
Yeah.
put a lot of pictures in the Facebook
Oh,
group.
yeah.
So I would recommend like check those out. The
And I
photo
met
sessions are great. Yeah.
yeah. So cool. And I met Danny Trejo yesterday and he was a riot. So sweet. It was towards the end of the day, obviously, but it was good to see him, and he signed a Rancor Keeper photo for Charlie, and
Oh, that's so nice.
yeah, he was really cool. But there was like a husky there, like a service dog husky who was having a hard time and was howling, and he was barking back at the husky.
Oh,
And
God,
I'm
of
like,
course.
okay. He's like, I
It's
want to pet
crazy
the
that
dog,
he's
but
in
it's a
Star
service
Wars
dog.
now.
I
Like,
know.
it's
Thanks,
so
Robert
weird.
Rodriguez.
Yeah. I'm into it. I like I love that Amy Sedaris is in Star Wars. It doesn't
Oh
make any
yeah.
sense, but like, oh, and I just saw Zashir Zameda is going to be in the MCU as part of Agatha Covenant of Chaos. And I was like, oh my God,
Oh, I
Zashir.
love her.
Like, I saw her do like an opening stand-up set before my friend's improv troupe like 10 years ago, well before SNL. So I have like,
Wow.
I mean, I've known she's a New Yorker, so I've like
Yeah.
seen her gig at like terrible gigs. That's amazing. Like, and so she's like a superstar now, and she has been ever since her time on SNL. But like, that's the kind of stuff
Yeah.
that I love. So
Oh, I
I
love
love
her.
when weird, interesting actors find their way in.
They announced Aubrey for that show too. Aubrey Plaza.
Yes.
Yes,
That's
that
going to be
show's gonna be
amazing.
so weird. I can't wait. Oh,
It's
I'm
gonna be
so
like the
nuts.
super coven, and I am here
Yeah,
for it.
I'm super into it.
So yeah, I got to walk around a little bit with Jason and Mark and also some friends from college, David and Russ. Um, I held Russ's spot in line for Alicia Silverstone while he met oh God, who was it? John Barrowman. Because I was helping another friend when I ran into him, and he's like, I've got Alicia Silverstone next. I was like, it's okay, I'll go hold your spot. Finish here and meet me. And he did, and it was really, really cool. So just spent the day helping them out with stuff and got Danny Lloyd added to my Dr. Sleep poster. So
That's killer. You got
thank
to
you,
show
David and
everyone
Russ.
that poster because it is
Ah,
awesome.
I'll have to put it in the base. I don't know if I could put it in the group because it's not really Star Wars related, even though it kind of is. With
If you put it in a photo dump with a lot of other stuff, you're like, here's my Alicia Silverstone.
oh yes.
With me, and so it's me, Jason, Alicia Silverstone, and Ashley. That was sort of the setup for most of our photos. And then when we met Brecken, I don't think you were there for Brecken.
I wasn't there for that, but that photo is phenomenal. You guys look so
Yeah.
fun.
He took it. He was like, I'll take the picture, and he was.
I love
it's
famous
flattering.
That's one of my favorite things.
It's
Yeah.
flattering for everybody. I love it.
He knew what he was doing. He looks great, by the way. So, ladies, if you have a chance to meet Breckenmeyer, do it. Like he has aged like beyond wine. Like it is. He looks better now than he did when he was younger, which is crazy.
Oh,
So,
Spencer said Ahmed Best signed his Darth Jar Jar pick.
oh, that's right.
That was so cool.
Apparently he said like don't tell Disney, so I think that that Spencer might not be able to post that one, but maybe that's more of a DM situation than
and
post publicly.
As I say it here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? That didn't happen.
What are they gonna do, right? I will say it was cool to see him out because like he was there.
Yeah.
Rupert Friend was there.
Yeah.
The one thing I didn't get, I didn't get Dante Bosco because his line was a mile long.
His line never ended.
It never stopped. Ended. And I was like, I'm not waiting in a line like that to add him to my
Braving
Rebels
the
poster. Elements,
his podcast with Janet Varney from The Legend of Korra. They're phenomenal. If you guys haven't listened to Braving the Elements, and it's on Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast, it's amazing. They go episode by episode. They have special guests. They have the creators on, other voice actors. So fun.
I have to check that out.
But his line just didn't end. It would have been so cool to add him to. He could have been added to the Rebels poster.
He was my on the fence person that I was talking about last time because he's only in a couple of episodes, but he's famous enough. It's kind of like Brent Spiner. We're actually going to watch. I swear we're going to get to the episode, guys. We're actually going to jump in like a minute because Brent Spiner appears in this episode as a very important character. But like. He's not a huge part of the show, and like once we're done with him, we're done with him. It's not like I'm trying to think of a good example. Oh, Dante Bosco, actually, where like he appears in season 1 and then he comes back in season 4.
Yeah.
And there's importance to that. Like his role, like that character is actually significant. Gol Travis, like once we're done with him, we're done with him. So, but
jerk face.
But would you?
Sorry, I'm still better.
On the Rebels poster. I mean, if I had a full size poster, like a big, like a 3 foot by 2 foot, there's room for everyone. And then you put Brent Spiner and you put every voice actor ever worked on. You could add Anna Graves. who I love, but I would put her on like a Clone Wars thing, and I have her individually. I wouldn't put her on Rebels, but if I had a full size Rebels, like a full poster as opposed to the print I have, you'd put her on there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd
you get
be
everyone.
definitely worth it. Or like a big piece of Rebels art,
Yeah,
which,
the
I could
big
throw
mural.
together in
Well,
like 10 minutes.
that's the
I'm
kind
like,
of thing where it's like if I had the big mural and it was poster size, like imagine something like that would be killer. I mean, then
yeah,
you'd really add everyone to. I'd have to start over
damn,
again.
I would want
This is
that on
how
the
the
wall of my room. I know you'd never be able
right
to start over again.
exactly.
It's
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 impossible.
virtually impossible, but
Well, how the hell am I going to get Sarah Michelle Gellar again or Dave Filoni? Like
thank
those are the
you.
problems. Like it's equally hard to get David
Darn, Dave,
Oyelowo
you
and
popular person, you.
yeah, that was just me. That was one of the benefits of working behind the scenes. But even then,
I
I miss
know.
Tia. It's not like Tia does the con circuit, so she may end up being the one that I miss out of all of them. Like weirdly enough, even though she's been in 2 celebrations, so
Yeah, I
oh
hope she does another one. Like maybe when they come to Florida.
yeah,
I missed the whole Rebel. My friends got photos with the entire Rebels cast dressed as Kanan, Hera, and Sabine,
Oh,
them and their daughter. And
that's awesome.
I missed the photo ops because our booth was just so busy the entire con.
Uh,
And I'm like, they're
hmm.
like my favorite people, and I'm here working.
I know I hate when that happens when the work. It's like we're also here to have fun. It's hard to do both.
Yes. Yeah,
All
it
right,
is.
let's jump into the episode. We'll continue talking about Rhode Island and
Mhm.
other Star Warsy things. But
Yes, the acolyte.
yeah, we have so much to talk about with that. That's going to be fantastic. Um, where are we?
We are
We're in Star
season
Wars Rebels
one,
season one.
episode 12, Vision of Hope.
All right, so we're nearing the end of season one, kids. And next week we are going to do the finale. So I know there was some question about what we're going to do next week. We're going to do it. We've been holding out for a while. So we're at episodes 12 and 13 this week. We'll do 14 and 15 next week, and we'll do a whole like download on like season one of Rebels. All right. Do you want to give us the countdown, Ashley?
Sure, we'll start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Play. Once my wheel stops spinning on the
My D plus has been slow lately.
currently. Hit play. There we go. Oh, this is the one where they all mess with Ezra.
This is
And by all, I mean Chopper.
reminiscent of the Ahsoka episode in
Yeah.
Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah.
By the way, you guys, Caleb Doom, Master Deepa Balava showing up in the trading episode. Thank you, Jeff, for reminding me and making my head explode all over again. That was such a cool little cameo. Yeah. So cool to see.
Yeah, we haven't talked Tales of the Jedi on this channel because last week was our pre-record Halloween spooktacular. So we should talk about that too. So as we're going through, now that you mentioned it, I think that breaks canon. So that having Caleb and Deppa there, Caleb should know who Ahsoka is, but we'll see it next week when we're watching a Fire Across the Galaxy. He doesn't blink. So I'm like, girl, like this scene couldn't have happened. We're just not paying attention to canon anymore, is what it seems. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Dave put them in there. Dave wrote, the episodes. So
I don't know. I don't like it. Is what it was. All right. I'm going to say something controversial and brave. I didn't like something in Star Wars. And I know that other people make like a whole living of that on their YouTube channel.
We talked about this, but I'll let you tell them.
Yeah. And here's the thing, like here's my golden rule. If I don't like something, I don't talk about it. There are plenty of parts of the saga that you'll never hear me talking about. And it's because I either don't really know it very well or I just don't like it. Like I don't like spending time on the negativity. If we're critiquing a show episode by episode, like we're doing on Andor, I will point out what I think works, what I think doesn't work. I think Andor is like pretty close to flawless so far. I think it's a solid A. Whereas like I had some complaints about Obi-Wan and the Boba Fett show. Like things worked, other things didn't. Tales of the Jedi I thought was like a solid 50-50. I thought the Dooku episodes were great. And I kind of wanted more, and I wish it was a longer series. But on the Ahsoka front, like it not only broke canon with the book, and presented these like weird contradictions, like having Kanan in the flashback of her training, but also it didn't add anything to her character. Like there was nothing new from here that I was able to glean about the character of Ahsoka. Even if I hadn't read the book, I was like, there's nothing here that it didn't add anything. So for me, I felt like it was a really missed opportunity. So I don't know what to do about that. Like for me, you could have given us a Mace Windu, who I know very little about, in 3 little episodes, and tell me how he was born and when he killed an Inquisitor one time. Like, I would rather have had that. And that's all I'll say about Tales of the Jedi. But for everyone else who enjoyed it, also have at it. Like, it was not for me, but if you guys liked it, by the way, I still want more. I still want more Tales of the
Yeah,
Jedi.
I mean, you
Even though
could
I
do it
didn't
with
like
other characters. I think I just did Ahsoka because she's a drawer.
Mhm.
Draw. Sorry.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
Word.
Yeah,
And Dooku because, having that book come out not too long ago, there's a lot about Dooku that us, the casual reader or casual viewer, don't really know about. Like we don't read the books or what have you. So it's good to just kind of see that in film form. And that episode with the tree after Qui-Gon dies,
yeah, it's
like
messed
just
up.
he's like not only saying goodbye to Qui-Gon because that was tree was the piece of Coruscant that Qui-Gon loved, but he's also saying goodbye to the Jedi Order. Like he's just like, nope, I'm done
Yeah,
from here. Like the Jedi Order is broken. Qui-Gon wouldn't have been killed. Like something terribly wrong with this. I don't want to be a part of it. Completely disillusioned. So it was very symbolic, and
yeah.
it was heartbreaking to watch. So
Oh, I
fantastic
love
job
that
with that.
part. I
Yeah.
thought it was super well done. And what's interesting is, okay, go down the lineage. Dooku to Qui-Gon to Obi-Wan to Anakin to Ahsoka. Almost all of them leave the Jedi Order in some effed up way. Like other than Obi-Wan, who hangs in, but he watches everyone else around him. Like Qui-Gon is killed unceremoniously by a Sith, right? And no one takes him seriously when it's happening. And so
Yeah.
it like he was on the verge of leaving anyway, is what it seemed. Dooku leaves, and that was like the last straw. Hayden, obviously, Anakin becomes Darth Vader, and Ahsoka leaves the Order very famously.
Yeah.
Like that line is so cursed. That cursed lineage is just tremendous. No, it's really it's heartbreaking. Yeah, I mean, quite all right, what Sarah's saying. If he hadn't helped them, he wouldn't have died. It's just so sad. Like,
It's
um,
Palpatine pulling the strings. Like
yeah.
he
Oh,
knew the rule of two. He knew the power was going to come from the Padawan of Qui-Gon. He had to set up some failure in the system.
yeah,
And to watch the Jedi unravel, you know
yeah.
he's pulling the strings.
I will say it gave us some really great story about Yaddle. I was like, oh, it
Yes.
explains a plot hole. And this, so I talked about this once before, and it's Barasafi is always the reference I use. There are a lot of characters in the prequel trilogy that are just puppets or characters in costume. They're actors in costume, but they're not really characters. They don't have lines. They don't have motivations or speaking roles or action or anything. They're basically props. They're glorified props. Yaddle was a glorified prop. They were like, oh, it's a Lady Yoda. And they did nothing with her. She didn't have anything to say. She didn't have anything to do. This gave her some character. We now have a voice actor with Bryce Dallas Howard. We have an excellent story arc. She makes a terrible decision going after Dooku. She tried to save him. She should have just ran away and been like, guess what I found out, everyone? We need help. Like,
They
it would have
never do
confirmed
that.
the, and they never do. They're all, and the part of it is that like they're at a point where they're all so overly confident and so sort of like full
The
of themselves. They
hubris
can't, the
gets them
hubris.
killed.
Yeah, it's every time.
Luke Skywalker called it.
Yeah,
So
even when she's doing the right thing, and she did try to do the right thing. She tried to save Dooku, and unfortunately, she paid for it with her life. But I felt like that was a great episode, and also speaks to like exactly what the Jedi do incorrectly. I was like, oh, this is so heartbreaking, and also so perfect. And Yaddle was amazing, and now I want more Yaddle. So I was like, can I have like a Tales of the Jedi about Yaddle? Like, I'd watch that.
yeah, like easily. Bryce did such a good job, and I love the explanation for Yoda's accent.
Yeah,
And Yaddle's accent. Like it's just like different accents in this planet, like
yeah,
on our
exactly.
planet. It's everybody speaks differently in different ways. So
Yeah,
oh,
it
Ezra.
it didn't bother me that she
Sorry.
didn't talk like Yoda.
No,
But
it
yeah,
didn't
we
bother
love
me either.
Yaddle. So the episode that we're watching here on Rebels is actually a really important one. This is the arrival of Tarkin, and this is when things really start getting serious. We've got an insurgency that's growing on Lothal. It feels like the rebellion is bubbling up, just like in Andor. Like we're at a point now where like the rebellion in Andor is now publicly known. They had their big coming out party. And so now the Empire's cracking down. That's exactly what they're doing in this episode of Rebels. They're going to send Tarkin and they're going to start oppressing the people even more. And we'll see it in the final moments of the episode, just how like dire it gets.
Yeah.
But Ezra's trying to figure out like what he can do as just like one person here on Lothal.
Chopper's like,
I like the background on his parents that they keep reminding us that like, you know, they were just regular people and they were trying to make a difference. And unfortunately they were either killed or whatever. Yeah, and then they got to meet up with this Gall Travis guy. Were you suspicious of him when he first arrived? Because I wasn't. I didn't think there was going to be a big evil twist thing.
I kind of was, because things don't always go exactly according to plan with the Ghost Crew. And I was like, somebody's a traitor. Somebody's going to find it and rat it about, whether it's someone that sees Travis with them, or it's Travis himself, you know?
I felt like it was going to be like too obvious if they made the senator also an Imperial, and then they got me because I wanted to believe him. And then the clues are pretty obvious once again, it's a kid show. I think there's a couple moments where it's like, oh, this guy is a problem. Yeah, all that's coming. That goes back to the conversation earlier about like, will Brent Spiner sign this poster? So
yeah,
maybe if I see him at another convention.
Every time I see Sabine's helmet upside down, I'm like, your head can't possibly fit in that helmet.
Yeah,
like, it's just so bad.
Like, is that soft material on the interior of her helmet?
Yeah, is it like foam? Is it like... But they never actually show her putting it on either. So I'm like, I have questions.
Yeah.
Hey, Sherry, welcome. We're on episode 12. We are 9 minutes, 50 seconds-ish in.
That is right.
We started really late. You didn't miss very much. I shouldn't say you didn't miss much. You missed very little of the actual show we're watching, because we spent quite a bit of time recapping Rhode Island Comic Con, aka Star Wars Rebels Revisited Live Action Reunion Weekend. It really was. Dave was there, Spencer was there, Ashley was there, Jeff was there in spirit. But
Jeff was our Force Ghost.
Yeah, we had a really fun time. And now we're talking about Tales of the Jedi. At some point we'll get to the episode, but the big action's happening in a few minutes. I will say the start of the episode really got me with his like vision, because he's very young to be having, very new in the Force to be having future visions. Like I felt like that was a thing that like came out of like not out of nowhere, but like that power usually manifests at a much later time. Like you don't start seeing things that early in your training, it seemed, right? Like that seemed like he jumped ahead like a lot when that happened.
I think it's because Ezra spent so much time on his own, and the planet is, as we find out later, a sacred place for the Jedi. He's probably got that connection to the planet, so and doesn't even realize it.
We're gonna see some good animal connectivity in the next episode also. Yeah. Oh, so back to Tales of the Jedi and why I hate it. No, but in all seriousness, tomorrow is the Dooku watch along, which that should be really fun. I'm gonna try to make it. I actually legitimately couldn't make it to the Ahsoka one, but
Spencer got me good during that one. You would have been like, "Oh, you walked into that one, girl."
What happened? Tell me.
So we're talking about the Togrutas and how Shakti's a Togruta, and I think Ahsoka's father's name is something T, and I was like, I wonder if he's related to Shakti, and Spencer goes, it's his brother or her brother Chai, And I was like, chai? And he goes, chai tea. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I was
amazing.
so pissed. I walked into that one, but it was really funny.
I now need to design a character called Chai Tea. Like that'd be
Just,
amazing.
we'll
Yeah.
get you a Leku and Montrails and
I like that. Yeah, join like not that like the equivalent of the Mando Mercs, right? Where you don't have to be on book.
yeah.
Um,
But they have
th-
boba tea fed, so
yeah.
you
Well,
could do
we
it.
came up with, so I shouldn't say we, my husband came up with a character because he saw some of the Mando Merc guys and 501sters after they take off their helmet, they have like a little headset microphone thing like this. And he's like,
Yeah.
oh, they
Yeah.
all have the Madonna microphone, from like Madonna in the 90s. And he's like, oh my God, you could do a Madonna Lorian. And he was talking about like chest plate armor that would like the cone bras, which would
Oh
also
my
be then
God.
pointy and spiky. I was like, oh my God, you should definitely make a Madonna Lorian of some sort. I don't know I don't know what we're gonna make, by the way. None of us are artists or builders over here. So
EVA
but
foam.
like
Can't go wrong.
yeah.
Mhm.
So that's our contribution to Star Wars this week, Madonna Lorian.
Love it.
Oh, I see Dave is watching. Hey Dave.
Oh,
Hi, Dave. Glad you made it home okay.
Dave
Great
drove for
seeing you this weekend.
half a day to get home.
It's a long drive. Yeah, when I forgot in my mind, Dave lives in DC. He actually lives in like North Carolina, 6 hours south of DC. Like it's that big of a difference. Um, and so it's already 4 hours from New York, and DC is like 4 hours from there. And so you add this up, and it's like, oh, you may as well live in Australia. Like at that point to get to this convention, like it is a trek.
It is a long drive, but I'm grateful they made it out. It was
Yeah.
good to see them.
Yeah, them go. So far, Ezra's vision's coming true.
Yeah, like we've
Yeah.
seen this.
Yeah, and it's not just like a cheap reuse of animation. Like
I was gonna say,
yeah, it's a good use. The plot, it's working.
I like when Chopper closes it as he yells at Kanan, and he almost shuts it on Kanan's head, and he's just like laughing at him.
Oh, I do like cheesecake, Dave. Hoboken's a great place to stop. My sister went to school at
Oh,
Stevens.
did you
A lot
go
of fun.
Carlo's Bakery? Please
Oh
tell me you
yeah,
went to
back when it
Carlo's
Cake
Bakery.
Boss. Yeah,
That's in Hoboken, so
yeah,
that's why I had to ask.
yeah. My sister went to Stevens, so for 4 years, I'd go out there to visit for various whatevers, including family stuff. And Carlos was I'd get the crumb cake of all the random stuff, but they make excellent crumb. Um,
Oh,
I know they've
everything's
become
good there.
like sort of too famous now, where they're no longer like a small one shop. Like they got that show on TLC and whatever else, but still
Yeah,
good.
they have a vending machine inside Earl of Sandwich in Florida
Hmm.
and in Disney Springs. So I was like, oh, do I want rainbow slices? So I was like, no, I'm gonna, I'm gonna eat the sandwich and call it a night because I just gotten more Gideon's Bakehouse cookies. But they have the little location inside Mohegan Sun. That's where I like to go after Terrificon and get
Hmm.
cannolis and rainbow cake slices. And
I've got to go to Terrificon.
yep, Dave went to Carlos. Yay!
Yeah. What's the next convention for the East Coast contingent over here? Like I know WinterCon is coming up, which is here in
Yeah.
New York, and it's a very small show. Like one
Oh,
year, like the headliners were like Taylor Gray and Vanessa Marshall, like small scale show.
but
Fun.
phenomenal. Like
Yeah.
right up our alley.
Exactly.
We have
But like,
Wicked Comic Con in Boston, April 22nd and 23rd. I'm gonna try to table at that show.
okay.
We'll see. It's literally the 2 days after my birthday, like 1 and 2 days after my birthday. So
Oh,
we'll
very
see.
nice. And a
Yeah.
couple of weeks after Celebration.
Yeah. So we'll see how that all pans out. But
Yeah.
fingers crossed. And then that's like right as the con season is starting to kick off. So we have Terrificon and Fan Expo Boston in August, usually like the first 1 and 2 weeks of August. And then October is New York Comic Con, and then November is Rhode Island.
Yeah.
And it just goes like that. But there's also HorrorCon CT. I think that's in September next year. It's another good show. That's where I got my Mike Flanagan and Kate. Sorry, I'm blanking on her last name. Oh my God, Siegel autographs.
Yeah, there's definitely a bunch of horror stuff happening in August, September, October. I know there's Monster Mania.
Yeah.
I thought there was a couple other like conventions in October and in like November, December. Like they do like a late, like the end of year kind of stuff. Now that Wizard World isn't Wizard World and they do Fan Expo, there aren't as many, but there used to be like at least a show every month somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm curious to see what 2023 looks like because I think 2022 is pretty close to back to normal. It wasn't quite like
Yeah.
2019 levels. And I think it's going to take a while for us to get there. I was having a
Yeah.
conversation with someone at the meetup at Dave and Buster's. I forget who asked the question about Ace Comic Con. I don't even know if they're still around, but like that level of con,
Yeah.
is it coming back? Like, will we get a Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans? Like
He's doing Chris Hemsworth is actually in the UK. I forget doing a convention, and they've got a lot of good people. Like Kit Harington's going to be there. Trying to think who else. Molly. I can't remember her name, but she played young Rhaenyra in House of the Dragon. She's going to be there. So we got Molly Alcock. That's her name.
Yeah. I'm curious to see, guest list wise, what 2023 shakes up to be. Who will be the big gets? Meanwhile, I love this
GalaxyCon
moment.
Columbus. Cool.
I
used to live
this.
2.5 hours from Columbus, so
I've never been to a show in Ohio. But I would like to do more of the like traveling around the country and doing a little bit more of that next year. It's just hard to plan for so many. I keep saying I want to go to Lexington, Kentucky. That's the big one. Like Lexington is a ginormous show. Meanwhile, we just witnessed a great scene in the episode with Hera being smarter than everyone, hands him the blaster, and of course it's not loaded or whatever, because she knows that he's a traitor. She figured it out, and she explains to Ezra like the little clues that if you're paying attention, like the average viewer is going to get it. Kids might be surprised, the adults not so much. But I do love this scene of them. The impending doom that is happening, and Callus is after them, and there's the senator knocked out. I would have dragged him with us, and like I would have never let him go. And I think that's the difference, right? Like this crew, they knocked him out, and they're just trying to escape. I would have taken him with me as a hostage, or just killed him. I mean, like you probably just have to kill him. You should have sliced his head off. Like, yeah, if I were Ezra, force choke right there. Like, I know he'd still be working on that, but like...
Oh, that look he gives him. Just... He betrayed my parents.
Hmm.
I'm surprised Callus didn't kill him.
Yeah. Oh my God, Chopper.
He's like, ah!
Yeah, let's get out of here.
He's like, oh, I just sealed this up.
So I would call this like a great episode, but a disappointing day for the crew of the Ghost. They find out that like Gall Travis is not the ally that they hoped for. In fact, he was actively suppressing rebel cells by visiting them, and then accidents would happen after his visit to cover his tracks. Like, I mean, this is devious. But now he's been found out, so they could tell everyone that Gall Travis is a traitor. Traitor to the cause. Thrawn funnel one. I did walk around in my Thrawn gear. I had my white tunic and my Grand Admiral. Is this the right one? Oh yeah, this is Thrawn right there. I think I have two of these. This is probably that's a production set. You can see it says "Do not sell" on the back, as a sample. But yeah, my costume looked really nice. The white and the black was better though. I actually liked the way I looked in the black a lot better. So I think I'm gonna go for like a full black. Oh yeah, so Sarah's right about these visions. They're not always literal, right? Like, and I think that was something that came up in the Clone Wars too. You see something, but there's more to the story, or you have to interpret. Like, all of those events were actually physically true, but it doesn't mean that like the intentions were. So Gall Travis was using them the whole time. So you have to be careful. Yeah, that is a hard lesson to learn. It's a little scary too.
Yeah. Especially when you're a part of a rebellion. Like, you don't want to have to learn to trust people.
Yeah. Let's jump directly into the next episode, and in that episode, let's talk about the Acolyte. So, let's do a 5-second countdown for episode 13, Call to Action.
Okay, it's gonna start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Play.
Dave is mentioning code cylinders. For my Imperial officer, I had the tunic and the belt, and I was wearing just regular dress pants because the pants aren't in yet. The hat looked great, but yeah, I need the cylinders. And then the pants are coming, but then the boots are the tough thing to get. Those are expensive. Okay, this is the arrival of Tarkin. So we dealt with Gall Travis, the senator, in the last one, and obviously he's been outed. So now they're sending in the big guns. This episode is 2 away from the finale. This is episode 13. There are only 15 episodes. I think this is the turning point in the series where we're no longer talking about a quote kid show. Like what happens in this episode sets up the tone for all of season 2 and into season 3, and it just gets more adult and a lot darker. And Tarkin's arrival it opened with the Star Wars music, like the orchestral music, right as he arrived. And his voice, by the way, his voice is like spot on. Steven Stanton nails it.
Yes.
But it is scary. I was like, it may as well be Darth Vader coming off the plane. Like, I was like, I'm annoyed. Like, he's pissed at everyone's failures on this backwater planet. This is like, an outer rim, low population planet. There should be no problems, and yet it's nothing but problems for them.
Yeah.
He mentions Governor Price too.
And the eye roll.
Meanwhile, I love that they're talking about leaping from ancient history. This was 20 years ago. He knows for a fact, too, that there are other Jedi out there because there's a whole task force hunting them. That's why there are Inquisitors. So I guess he doesn't want the population knowing that they're a Jedi, but he is well aware that there are Jedi out there.
And that's why he's looking at the Inquisitor like...
Yeah, I see you.
If only we had ways to deal with them.
Yeah. He's so mean to Minister Tua, which I'm kind of all about. Like she's terrible. And she doesn't get what she deserves, though. I think like we talk a lot about consequences in Star Wars, and it's like, I don't know, it's like we didn't need to kill her. There are plenty of other people that could have gone on the kill list. Oh, these two.
I think they had to just make room for Price.
Yeah.
And she was a weak link. They always have those weaker characters to kind of accentuate the big bads.
I was surprised. I shouldn't have been surprised because, season 2 it comes after season 1, and we know what happens at the end of season 1.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's very impressive. Look at that. That's awesome. They actually don't shy away from killing people in this show, like Grand Inquisitor, Minister Tua, Rook. We lose Wolf in the finale. Like there's the body count in the show isn't super
Gregor
high.
Sorry,
Gregor. And randos here and there, including several X-wings and lots of TIE fighters, and then, as we know, choppers blown up entire space stations and ships. A lot of them are nameless and faceless, but like people who we spend time with, like we spent a lot of episodes with Minister Tua. We spent a lot of episodes with the Inquisitor. Even though they're the bad guys, they kill the other Inquisitors too. People don't make it out of the show alive.
I don't think this show got as much attention or positive attention because it was on XD.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I remember those Friday nights. Like I would plan my night around, like it was on at 8:00 or whatever it was on Disney XD. I would come home after work, have dinner, watch Rebels, and then I would go out if I was going out. And I wasn't always going out, but when I did, I'd always make sure if there was a new episode of Rebels, I would like tweet along or whatever. no one cared. They really didn't. It was actually like quite sad until we were in season 4 and we were like counting down to the real series finale. But
Yeah.
it was really overlooked, and consumer products didn't do well. It's
Yeah.
why there's only one card set from Topps, and then you could see like all the merchandise just evaporated as you went into season 2. Like there's barely anything from the Inquisitors. Certainly season 3, there's some Thrawn merch, but like
Yeah.
they left Thrawn more for like, Thrawn is almost a carryover from a different thing that they like put into Rebels as opposed to like a Rebels created character.
Hera was really pissed off about the betrayal, like offering credits for the rebels' capture. Like jerk face Travis.
I'm telling you, they should have killed him. There we go. We should have. So if we can swap some people on the kill list, I'd put Gall Travis.
Yeah, I agree.
I do love that picture though. They got them all in their battle poses. Like it was very cool. I was like, well,
Yeah.
I'd want that on the ship, like a little mural or something. But yeah, Gall Travis kind of disappears after this season. Like we don't really hear about him again, from what I remember.
Oresco and Grint.
Yeah. Oh boy. So this, if we're talking about the show changing tone and direction, like right there with Tarkin at the table and the Inquisitor in the corner, like this is pretty ominous. And these two idiots have been like the comic relief of Imperial officers, and are just incompetent. But like I did not expect what's coming.
No, definitely not.
So they know that the Jedi is real. And I wonder if part of it is like we know there are rumors out there, but we don't actually want anyone who has eyewitness to this because we want to deny it.
Yeah.
Also, they failed numerous times. I find them annoying.
Yeah, unity is dangerous. And I think that's what makes our rebels understand that they need to be part of a bigger thing.
I do think the note about no casualties, so that they have standards. They want to help people more than hurt people. That is super important, and it speaks to their moral compass.
Yeah, and this is his game plan all along. Having Kanan exist as a Jedi and everybody knows he's a Jedi is a big problem to the Empire because they're supposed to wipe them out.
Exactly. It's a big threat.
It discredits the Inquisitors. It discredits the Empire. It discredits the Emperor for all intents and purposes. And
yeah,
that's why he's like, nope, we're not doing that.
Although they just like murder these two side characters,
Mrs. Tua's face is just like, oh.
Yeah. And that's probably her turning point too, where she's like, well, I've failed a lot. I'm next. So in some ways it's self-preservation. She's got to get her ass out of there.
And that's why I wasn't sorry to see her go. Like I was like, you got mixed up in the bad business.
Yeah.
And you only gave a crap when it literally was your head on the line. So
yeah, truly. I do think Kat Susie is great in that role. She also plays Ezra's mom, so like she's got to go on the poster. I gotta find out the show as she's going to be at. Let's talk Acolyte real quick, because for anyone in the chat who might not have seen the news, today was actually like a really big Star Wars news day, one that none of us were expecting. They announced 9 cast members for the Acolyte, which is a live action series coming in 2024. They announced the Acolyte a little while ago, but they gave us an official synopsis and 9 actors. Let me read the official synopsis for you guys. The Acolyte is a mystery thriller that will take viewers into a galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers in the final days of the High Republic era. Which, remember I was saying, like, I think we need something TV for High Republic, because like books alone aren't going to do it. Like I hear it's great, but like if you don't have something media, it's going to be hard to like push that part of the saga. So a former Padawan reunites with her Jedi Master to investigate a series of crimes, but the forces they confront are more sinister than they have ever anticipated. So I think that sounds really interesting. And I think we're going to get a lot of dark side.
Oh
I
yeah.
forgot it was live action. I really thought this was a cartoon coming toward us. It is not, it is a live action experience. And it's High Republic. What do you think?
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm so excited for this. I would love to see more about different factions of Star Wars, like not just Empire versus Jedi and Rebels and Sith. And it just, I like the balance of things.
Yeah.
So to see where this one goes is going to be amazing. And the cast is just,
Unbelievable, right?
yeah. So we already knew that we had Amanda Stenberg and
Yep.
Jodie Turner-Smith on board, but the new people they announced today, Mark, do you want to walk us through those?
Yep. So here are all 9 coming at you. Amanda Stenberg seems to be the lead, along with Lee Jun Jae. And apologies if I mispronounced anyone's names. Not super familiar with everyone's
So
IMDb.
he was in
Uh,
Squid Game. He was
Squid
the
Game.
protagonist in Squid Game. Phenomenal actor. Gonna
Yep,
bring
I've
his
heard
A game
good
for
things about
this.
him. Manny Jacinto from The Good Place, who plays very funny Jason, who is always doing the stupidest of things, but is super heartwarming. So I'm
Yeah.
curious to see how he takes on something serious. We know he can dance and he can move and he's got a great body, so I'm sure that he's stunt ready. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's going to be like a badass inquisitor, like doing a lot of like heavy
Yeah.
action stuff. Daphne Keane, who was really the name on the list that I knew the least about, other than that she's in Logan.
Yes. And
Yeah.
she's also in His Dark Materials.
See, I'm not familiar with that show.
It's a really good show. It's based on the books. It's like The Golden Compass is part of those books.
Yes.
So really phenomenal series. She's a great actress, and I'm glad she's part of this.
And she was the young girl in Logan.
Yes, she was Laura.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jodie Turner-Smith, who you're right, we knew she was part of this before.
Mhm.
So her IMDb includes Queen and Slim, After Kang, and Anne Boleyn. Okay. I hear she's great. I just don't know. It's funny, there's so many, like, when this came out, by the way, and this went up on Twitter, like people were like lose their minds, like how good this cast is. So
After Yang, she was really good in that movie.
Oh, and she's in True Blood also.
Yes.
Okay. Rebecca Henderson and Charlie Barnett, they are both in Russian Doll, weirdly enough. And I think it's because the woman who's running the show is from Russian Doll.
Yes. So go with what you know.
Yeah. And Russian Dolls are super weird. That's Natasha Lyonne. And I guess Charlie Barnett. He is also one of he's one of the main stars. The creator is Leslie Headland, right? Yep. So that's who is show running Acolyte. Right. So she brought in 2 of her people. It would be weird to see Natasha Lyonne in a Star Wars, but
hey, she
Amy
might show up.
is in a Star Wars, and
just saying.
If I see
if there's a season 2,
I will lose my mind. I love her so much. She's so weird. She's so awesome.
I love her in American Pie.
I pick something, right? Like she's in everything she's in. It's amazing. But I'm a Cheerleader is just incredible. Let's see what else. Dean Charles Chapman. I had to look him up too. And I'm like literally looking at the IMDb over here. He's in a Game of Thrones. And 1917.
I know who that kid is. Tommen Baratheon. Tommen Baratheon. So he was the youngest son of Cersei and Jaime Lannister.
Oh, okay.
Scandalous.
And then 1917, he's Lance Corporal Blake. And then Before I Go to Sleep, he is Adam. I did not recognize him either. I shouldn't say that. Like I recognize these people, but they're not. It's not like they announced like Julia Roberts. Like I did have to IMDb every person just to double check.
Yeah, me too.
Like even Amandla, like I didn't realize like she's from the Hunger Games, but like
she's Rue. Yeah.
I just didn't recognize the name because I'm not a cool hip kid. Like that's the thing.
She was the catalyst for the revolution.
She is. She's the spark that is going to burn down the resistance or whatever. So
close enough.
Yeah.
And you guys.
Do you want to say it?
You can say it, but I'm just going to react.
Right. Carrie Ann Moss. Like Carrie Ann
Queen.
Moss. I
Love
don't even
her.
know. I like for me that's the one that really got me. I was like, oh, now I was interested to begin with, and I'm gonna watch anyway. But like Carrie Ann Moss has plenty of money and all the success she needs, right? From the Matrix trilogy, she's in Memento. Like she does what she wants. So
Yes.
for her to say yes to something like this makes me suspect her role is going to be meaty and interesting. Like
I
why
cannot
else?
wait.
Why else? Like
I am a huge Matrix fan, as you all know. My love for all things Keanu runs deep.
yeah.
But like this is amazing. Like it's so cool to have her on board, and I know she's really good friends with Keanu, so maybe
Can you imagine? I mean, he
I
is
would die.
sort of in
I would die,
Marvel
you guys.
because of Constantine, but it's not MCU.
Yes,
Like so
Sarah gets me. Carrie is a
yeah.
queen. So,
The
oh,
Matrix is such an important series of movies for so many reasons.
mm-hmm.
One, it defined a generation of special effects, and
Yes,
sort of defined a genre of storytelling too within sci-fi. Like it made sci-fi and the dystopian future thing like part of the pop. It like permeated the pop culture in a way that's like inexplicable. Like everyone
yeah,
knows the slow motion, the deep bend, like that kind of thing. Um, but there's also like an amazing story there, like the trans allegory of everything, the way in which it's such like a queer story without a lot of people even realizing it. And then in the fourth one, where they re-examine all that, like they did a legacy sequel, I think the way a legacy sequel needs to be done, the same way that Scream
yes,
did it, and the same way that Halloween 2018 did it, where they look back
yes.
in the correct way, and it was meta, 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 super smart. I loved Matrix 4. I thought it was
Oh, me
spectacular.
too. Honestly,
And
I've seen
Carrie
that
Ann
movie
got to
so many
shine.
times.
Yeah,
Yes,
it
having
was
her in
terrific.
charge, but also instead of them saving Neo and helping Neo this time, they're helping her.
Yeah,
So it kind of made her the one for this. So
it
so
turns
cool to
out
see.
there were two ones, which I'm all for. Like it, like
Two ones
love
equal
was
one.
always at the center of the Matrix, even though it's people don't think of it as a love story.
Yeah,
But
but I
like,
do.
yeah, it's such a weird, it's like complicated philosophy, against like the
Oh,
backdrop of sci-fi nonsense, you know?
yes, Sarah just nailed it. She was also amazing in Jessica Jones too
Oh
as her
yeah.
lawyer. I totally forgot. I'm so sorry. I'm a terrible Marvel fan, but yeah, she did a phenomenal job in that. She was the grounding. She elevated that show. Like her, David Tennant, Kristen Ritter, just phenomenal actresses all around. And she's gonna elevate this.
Yeah. Well,
Watch.
I think it's smart to
I
bring
just did
in, I'll
Jason's
say,
hand thing. Watch.
Um, this is a young hip cast, even though Manny Jacinto I think is like only a couple years younger than me. Like Carrie Ann Moss is the wage, right? Like she's the old lady of this group, and she's my age. Like this is a young, hip, interesting, diverse, multi-culti cast. Who are I would say some of them are really up and comers. Like some of them have relatively thin IMDb's, but they all do interesting work. And from what I've seen, like you know how sometimes like Twitter is nothing but negative, and you
Yeah.
could easily see people being like, "Who are they?" or
And Lee
"Ugh,
Jung Jae is a huge star in Korea.
yeah,
So to have him crossing over, having that international appeal from Squid Game and being
yeah,
in this, huge.
very smart." But from what I
Gets that
saw,
international market out there.
these Star
Very
Wars
smart.
fans actually seem to be quite positive about this casting, and that it almost makes me nervous.
Because
But
we all
like,
watch Squid Game. That's why.
I think that helps.
Yeah.
But like
And The
Carrie Ann, I
Matrix.
think is your anchor, right? Like if you know nothing else, you're like, oh, Carrie Ann Moss and Matrix, like this could be something.
Yeah,
And
she's
if you
she's
remember that
the
that's
big
Rue from
star.
the Hunger Games, like and that guy from
Oh,
Squid Game,
she's done
yeah,
so much. She's written her own comic book.
yeah,
Um,
she's in The Hate You Give, which I didn't
yeah,
realize. So
such a good
yeah, her.
show.
It's again, it's like I click on the IMDb. I was like, oh right, oh right, it's that guy from that thing. I think I was joking about that earlier. Like Manny Jacinto, I think has that kind of face where
Hmm.
if you didn't know The Good Place, he's been in other things too, but like The Good Place is so good. I highly recommend.
Yeah.
Um, by the way, we're
I
coming up on
just
like really this is the end of this episode, and it's a big confrontation. Kanan's fighting the Inquisitor. He's not gonna win. Everyone else escapes. So he sacrifices himself to like,
and you can see how sad Hera is when she has to leave him.
yeah. It's the right thing to do at the moment. It's unfortunate, but like I also don't know if I were them, I'd be like, I don't know if he's like, are they really going to capture him or are they going to kill him? Like it's hard to tell. But they captured the at least temporarily the communications tower, and they're able to send the message of hope, which is good. But then we're going to see how that crumbles in a second. The Empire is always a step ahead of them.
Tarkin in the helmet.
Looks so good. I love that stupid helmet. No one wears it better than Price, though. Governor Price in the helmet is a notch above Thrawn, who's a notch above Tarkin. Like all of them in their battle helmets. Yeah, what do you guys think about the Acolyte? Are people excited about? I'm excited about this show. I knew nothing about, like, I remember when they announced it, and I was like, okay, and because they didn't tell us anything, they were like, it's going to be about the dark side, and I was like, well, I hope it's a cartoon, and I hope it's not in the Skywalker era, and it turns out it's not the Skywalker era, but it is, and it is live action. But this got me very excited today.
And that transmission goes out just in time for them to capture Kanan and take him away.
Yeah.
And it's foreshadowing. Like everything he's saying is foreshadowing what happens with Kanan later in the series.
I like that Ezra's the one to record the message too, because you would think like it could be Hera, like it could, she's been doing this for a while. But this is amazing that they like literally blow up the communications tower. Tarkin knows how to win a war. He knows what it takes. Yeah. The message got out, though. That's what matters. The message got out.
Do you think anybody listened? Yeah, there we go. And I think it's good that it was Ezra, because his parents were a voice that brought together so many people into the rebellion and inspired them to fight back against the Empire. So it makes sense that it's their son carrying on their legacy, even if it's just that one transmission before the Empire takes it out. Like, what have you got to lose?
Yeah. And now we're on to the 2-part finale. So next week next Monday, which is the 14th for Rebels Revisited, we're going to do it. We're going to watch the finale of season 1. We're going to watch episode 14, Rebel Resolve, and episode 15, Fire Across the Galaxy. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if you're tuning into a YouTube show about Rebels, you probably know already that Fire Across the Galaxy is one of the best episodes in the whole damn series. So I think we're going to clear the deck from all other conversation and like actually watch that episode and talk about that episode. Focus. And how good it is. And we're going to focus. That's right. We're going to focus, like Master Yoda says. We're going to focus. My husband was doing that a lot over the weekend.
And Alicia Silverstone complimented him for it.
Yeah. He finds a way to like talk with people longer than I think he should, and they seem into it.
They're so into it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm like, we need to leave. There are other people online. But
I adore Jason. I had such a good time with you guys.
Thank you. It was so fun seeing you like again in real life. This was something we need to do more often as a crew. And it's hard when we're all over the country. You're in Massachusetts. I'm in New York. Spencer is also in not Massachusetts. Yeah. Okay, he's close to you at least.
He's like an hour and 20 minutes away.
Dave's in Pennsylvania. I've got Jeff on the West Coast. Like Chicago was weirdly enough like the equidistant point in 2019.
And Joanna came from that,
from Australia. So as I joke. I got to text her. I have some pictures with her in it, and I realized I put them on Instagram, but like that gives you the low reg like shitty version. So yes, all right. I know I'm not going to focus, Sherry. It's going to be me going off the rails because something will happen in the news, and I'll just like scream into the void. I can tell you my Fire Across the Galaxy stories, which there aren't that many, but. I think that'll be the plan for next week. Oh, and here's the reason. So November is actually the finale of Andor. So we're going to see the week of the 28th, which is, I think, the 30th. No, Wednesday, the 23rd is the final episode of Andor.
Right.
So we will cover a full Andor recap on Monday, the 28th. Monday, the 21st is like Thanksgiving week. So we have not come up with a topic for that week yet. So we're going to come up with something fun that isn't a watch along, but we wanted to finish the first season of Rebels before Andor closed, because I feel like they're on the same timeline.
They are.
So that's a lot of connectivity right there. So that's really the goal of this. So we're going to go through Rebel Resolve and Fire Across the Galaxy next week. We'll come up with something fun the week of Thanksgiving, and then the week of the 28th, we'll do our Andor recap.
Right. So we do have some good stuff lined up. It's just, a little tweaking. But, we'll be so glad to have you join us just before Thanksgiving. The VCN is going to have a lot of cool stuff getting in before the Thanksgiving and Black Friday holidays. If you want to call Black Friday a holiday, I don't know.
Yeah, I do all my shopping.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and speaking of shopping, everyone get yourself a Rebels Revisited t-shirt. I am wearing the blue V-neck. Like I said, it's an appropriate V. It's not like it's not a too sexy V. But it is a good length. And then you've got the heather blue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mark and Jason were nice enough to bring this for me to wear on tonight's show. So I got to represent my peoples, but I will be getting more as soon as I get back to work and start getting paid. I'm really excited to be going back to my comic shop that I left before I moved to Ohio, even if it's just for the season. So
at Newberry. Yeah. I was telling you, I used to buy from them when they would do their autograph CDs and stuff. I love Newberry Comics. Yep. Thank you, Jeff, for placing the link to the TeePublic.
Thank you.
I'm sure there'll be a Black Friday sale there or a discount coming. I always give it a couple weeks. There'll be another discount. I like that idea, Sarah, about a thankful Zoom, something like that. I think, we want to do a thematic one, not a watch along. We've done a bunch of those. And now that we're the end of season 1, we'll kick up with season 2 in December. But we can do something like, what are we thankful for about Star Wars Rebels or something like that. I think that could be really fun.
Or in the fandom in general, it's always good to have that in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Because we get so spoiled nowadays with so much content and stuff that like a lot of it, some of it hasn't been top notch, but at least we've got it.
Yeah.
And some of it has been amazing. So
and what's happening this week? Black Panther.
I know. Oh my God. I've got tickets for Friday night. I've got tickets for Saturday afternoon. So I'm excited.
You already have multiple sets. Okay.
Yeah. And possibly for Thursday. We'll see how that goes.
I've got Thursday night tickets with some friends. There's 4 of us going.
Cool.
But because we have a birthday party thing on Saturday, because I originally was thinking maybe I'll also go Saturday early. But I was like, let me go see it Thursday, and then I'll figure out like if a Sunday viewing is required. Because I feel like it's going to be a raucous theater on Thursday night.
Oh my God,
like, it's going to be. It always is on opening night for any of like the big action comic book movies. I still remember the Spider-Man No Way Home, just like with the chaos of that night. Like I feel like I missed a third of the dialogue because you have to clap for every character that enters.
What?
It was very that.
It was so that, like, even in my theater in my small little city in Ohio, like it was insane. Like the theater was packed. There's no, I had to see it at least twice to get the full of it.
Yeah. So. Oh, for sure. Okay. Do we have any other? Oh, so this week on the VCN, tomorrow, the Tuesday happy hour are the Dooku episodes of Tales of the Jedi, the ones that I liked. So, and again, I'll never mention this again. I don't like being negative, so I will never talk about it until we get to the next thing. I'm very excited about everything happening on Andor, though. So also tune in this Thursday for the next watch along of the next episode of Andor, which I think is going phenomenally well. Like I'm obsessed with Andor. I think it's so good. So tomorrow, Dooku watch along on the happy hour Zoom, and that's not a recorded thing. That's just a Zoom, the happy hour. And then Thursday, the watch along with, I believe it's going to be Jeff, Dave, and Spencer again. Maybe Kat. I don't know. Jeff, do you know?
Kat should be there as well.
Excellent. Cool. And you guys are doing the next episode of Andor. And then do we know what's happening Sunday? Is there a unifying force or a Jedi Archives?
I can't remember which is which.
Something's happening Sunday. You know what? They'll tell you.
That will probably say something about that. So
yeah, someone will tell you tomorrow or Thursday. You have time.
We'll talk about it on the next thing as well.
Yep. And then join us next Monday, the 14th, and tell all your friends you're not going to want to miss this one. The season 1 finale of Star Wars Rebels, the double episode Rebel Resolve and Fire Across the Galaxy, which I'm so excited about. Oh, it's so good.
Huge episode. Yeah. Huge episodes. Definitely pushing the series into more adult territory
Mhm.
and more rebellion territory. So
Yep.
definitely
And
a good
probably the most viral moment of the entire show. So as I was saying, that no one cared on Twitter until that moment at the end of Fire Across the Galaxy, where the hashtag trended for like 24 hours straight. So and again, like we're in the West Coast viewing, as we talked about in our watch
yes.
along or our listicle the other week. So yeah, that'll be fun to experience again. We can all pretend like we just found out, and maybe we can make the hashtag trend.
Oh yeah, let's just do it ourselves.
Yeah.
Like,
Look,
although,
Twitter's a great place to be. Nothing
is it?
interesting is happening there.
No,
It's not at all a cesspool. It hasn't
he's not
evaporated in the matter of days.
locking everybody's
So
accounts, but
it's it's fucking chaos on Twitter. It's just terrible right now. I don't even know what to do. So I have to. And here's the thing: I love Twitter. I loved Twitter. It was my favorite social
yeah,
networking
it's how
site
I
because
got
I
my first
curated.
art job in the
Yeah,
industry.
that's the thing. Individual creators need it for the connectivity and like the building of networks. My entire Star Wars fandom network is on Twitter, like, and less
Yeah,
so on Instagram and hardly at all on Facebook. Facebook is like for keeping up with people from high school that I don't care about and family that you're required to. And I hate Facebook because of Zuckerberg and whatever else, right? But like, you know what I mean? Like, and then Instagram's owned by him. So it's like, oh,
I
social
missed
network's
MySpace
terrible.
and Tom.
Oh,
It was
who
so
knew that
slow.
like that was going to be the one where it's like Tom never tried to like overthrow the government or allowed hate speech. Like
Or
he,
privacy laws were broken,
yeah.
or
It's
oh.
like, and I don't want to go to
Anyway,
Mastodon. Like they were trying to tell us to go to Mastodon, and someone put up a tweet that actually really made me laugh. They were like, everyone talking about Mastodon is like being at a party and it's 1 a.m. and they're all trying to tell me how to play this card game that's way too complicated and I'm too drunk. Like, and I was like, yes, that's exactly what it sounds like. Like people
yeah.
are telling me about servers and like streams to follow, and then your DMs aren't private and all this stuff. And I was like, this is terrible. Like, who built this? And then I was like, oh, right, because if you build the exact same thing as Twitter, there's no differentiation. So you have
Yeah.
to make something more complicated and therefore like less good.
Yeah.
Tumblr was fine, but then once everyone decided that because they couldn't have nudity, no one wanted to be on Tumblr anymore, so that fell apart.
Neil
Um,
Gaiman never left.
yeah,
By
look,
the
that's
way,
fine.
Sandman season 2 is happening. Sorry, just
Yeah,
had to get that out there. Very excited.
yeah. People are leaving now because I'm starting to rant. So, all
Yeah.
right, good night, everyone who said good night. Join us
Well,
next
thank
week
you
for
guys.
actual Star Wars topics. And yeah, follow me on Twitter while you still can at Darth Von Olin.
Yeah, and follow me at Hate Street Girl. Good to see you guys tonight. Thank you for joining us to have this wonderful nerdy conversation
Yep. Oh,
and
and
watch some
everyone,
episodes with us.
don't forget to vote tomorrow.
Vote.
Yes, make sure you vote. And then vote and then go to the happy hour.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. All right. Well, good night, guys. May the force be with you.
May the force be with you. Bye.